The coffee cost less than $5, but by the next morning, that small act of kindness would cost one powerful executive his career and completely transform the life of the woman who never expected anyone to notice her. As she stood frozen outside the conference room, watching a stranger calmly remove her cruel boss from the company, one impossible realization sent chills through her entire body. The man whose coffee she had quietly paid for only 24 hours earlier was now the new owner of the business where she had spent years feeling invisible. If you believe in kindness, forgiveness, hope, and second chances, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement today, and subscribe to our channel so our community can continue sharing emotional stories that remind us how even the smallest act of compassion can change countless lives. Maren Whitlock had never expected life to become easy. Raised by her hard-working grandmother after losing her parents as a child, she learned early that kindness was something you gave without expecting anything in return. Her grandmother often reminded her that people might forget your words, but they would always remember how you made them feel. Those lessons stayed with Maren long after her grandmother passed away, becoming the quiet foundation of every decision she made. At 29, Maren worked as an administrative assistant at a large publishing company. She loved books, admired creativity, and genuinely believed stories could change lives. Unfortunately, her direct supervisor, Cedric Vaughn, believed fear was the best management strategy. He criticized employees publicly, dismissed ideas without listening, and constantly reminded everyone that they were replaceable. Many talented workers quietly resigned, but Maren stayed because she needed the income to support her younger sister, who was attending college. Every morning before work, Maren stopped at the same small neighborhood cafe. It was one of the few peaceful moments in her busy day. The familiar smell of fresh coffee, warm pastries, and friendly conversations reminded her that kindness still existed beyond office walls. One sunny morning, while waiting for her order, she noticed a distinguished older man searching every pocket of his jacket with growing embarrassment. His wallet was missing, and despite apologizing repeatedly, he prepared to leave without his coffee. Without drawing attention to herself, Maren stepped forward and quietly paid for his drink and breakfast. The man thanked her sincerely, offering to repay her somehow. She simply smiled and explained that someone else would probably need his kindness one day. She hurried to work without even learning his name. The next morning, everyone at the publishing company received an unexpected email requesting all employees gather in the main conference room immediately. Whispers spread throughout the building. Some feared layoffs. Others expected another difficult announcement. Cedric entered confidently, convinced the meeting had nothing to do with him. Moments later, the same man from the cafe walked calmly into the room accompanied by members of the company's board of directors. Maren almost dropped the notebook she was carrying. The stranger recognized her instantly. Their eyes met only briefly before the meeting officially began. The board announced that the company had recently been purchased by renowned entrepreneur Alastair Rowan, whose reputation for rebuilding struggling businesses through strong leadership and employee respect had become well known throughout the publishing industry. Alastair explained that he had spent weeks quietly observing the company before officially taking control. He had spoken with employees anonymously, reviewed years of complaints, and carefully studied workplace culture. His conclusion was painfully simple. The business wasn't failing because of its employees. It was failing because fear had replaced leadership. Without raising his voice or humiliating anyone, Alastair informed Cedric that his employment would end immediately due to repeated misconduct, documented harassment, and failure to uphold company values. The room remained completely silent. For years employees had dreamed of someone finally noticing what they endured. Now it was actually happening. Cedric left without argument. His confidence disappeared with every step toward the exit. After the meeting ended, Maren quietly returned to her desk, hoping no one had noticed the connection between herself and the new owner. A few minutes later, she received an invitation to Alastair's office. Her heart raced. She feared she had somehow made a mistake. Instead, Alastair welcomed her warmly. He thanked her again for buying breakfast at the cafe. Then he surprised her even more. He explained that her kindness had not influenced his business decision because the investigation into company leadership had already been completed before they met. However, her generosity confirmed something he deeply believed. Character reveals itself most clearly when no reward is expected. Someone who helps strangers without seeking recognition often brings that same compassion into every area of life. Instead of offering her money or special treatment, Alastair asked a different question. He wanted to know why someone with her intelligence, organization, and compassion remained in an assistant position despite consistently outstanding performance reviews. Maren admitted she had gradually stopped believing she deserved greater opportunities. Years of criticism had quietly convinced her she wasn't capable of more. Alastair smiled gently. He explained that the most dangerous thing poor leadership steals isn't confidence for one day. It steals belief in your own potential. Over the following months, the publishing company slowly transformed. Managers attended leadership training focused on respect instead of intimidation. Employees were encouraged to share ideas without fear. Creative teams that once remained silent suddenly filled meeting rooms with exciting new projects. Maren accepted a promotion leading community outreach programs connecting local schools with authors and literacy initiatives. She discovered remarkable talent for inspiring people and organizing meaningful events that encouraged children to fall in love with reading. One afternoon, while visiting an elementary school library, Maren met dozens of children excitedly discussing their favorite stories. Watching their enthusiasm reminded her why she had chosen publishing in the first place. Books offered hope, courage, and imagination to children who sometimes needed all three. Meanwhile, Cedric faced difficult months searching unsuccessfully for another executive position. His reputation followed him everywhere. Eventually he accepted a modest administrative role at a non-profit organization helping unemployed adults rebuild careers. At first he viewed the position as temporary. Instead, something unexpected happened. Working alongside people who had experienced hardship humbled him. For the first time in many years, he listened more than he spoke. He slowly recognized the damage his arrogance had caused. Nearly a year later, Cedric requested a meeting with Maren. She hesitated but eventually agreed. They met at the same neighborhood cafe where everything had quietly begun. Cedric sincerely apologized for the pain he had caused her and countless others. He admitted losing his prestigious career had forced him to confront the person he had become. He wasn't asking for another opportunity. He simply wanted those he had hurt to know he finally understood. Maren accepted his apology. Not because his behavior had been acceptable, but because forgiveness allowed both of them to move forward instead of remaining trapped by the past. Months later, Alastair announced the opening of a charitable foundation providing books, educational resources, and mentoring opportunities for underfunded schools across the country. He asked Maren to become its executive director. She accepted with tears in her eyes. The frightened assistant who once believed she was invisible had become a leader changing thousands of young lives through education and compassion. During the foundation's opening celebration, held beneath warm afternoon sunshine in a beautiful public library courtyard, Alastair quietly handed Maren a framed receipt. It was the tiny cafe receipt for the coffee and breakfast she had purchased that unforgettable morning. Across the bottom he had written one simple sentence. The greatest investments are often the smallest acts of kindness. Before we reach the end of this story, we'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced an unexpected act of kindness that changed your life, or have you been able to help someone without expecting anything in return? Leave a meaningful comment below because your story may inspire someone who desperately needs hope today. As the afternoon sun illuminated smiling children holding brand new books, Maren looked around and realized that one ordinary decision at a neighborhood cafe had created a chain of kindness reaching far beyond anything she could have imagined. She never paid for that stranger's coffee hoping to receive recognition or success. She simply chose compassion because that was the person her grandmother had raised her to become. In return, life reminded her that genuine kindness never truly disappears. It travels quietly from one heart to another until entire communities are changed. Sometimes the smallest gesture becomes the beginning of someone's greatest blessing, proving that character, not position or wealth, is what truly transforms the world. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. May we all remember that every act of kindness, no matter how small it seems today, has the power to write a beautiful chapter in someone else's life tomorrow.